Nebraska. Whew. All right, let's get right into it. The first game of the college football season is over. A Big Ten affair between the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Illinois Illini. And Illinois wins this game 30-22. Bret Bielema starts his career out with the Illini 1-0. Scott Frost now 12-21 in his career at the University of Nebraska. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Nebraska's got it tough in general, man. Remaining schedule for the Cornhuskers from here on out after 2 easy games at Oklahoma, at Michigan State, versus Northwestern, versus Michigan, at Minnesota, versus Purdue, at Wisconsin, versus Iowa. Lots of losses in store for there if you can't win at Illinois. And I don't expect for Nebraska to make a bowl game again, after what I saw just now. 12-21 Scott Frost moves to 0-1 on the season. It is disappointing there in Lincoln, to say the least. Last season, they had the lowest points per game at Nebraska in 40 seasons, and they begin this season with 22 points, which is not that great, especially in modern-day college football. Brandon Peters, 3 for 4 on the day, 35 yards for the Illini before he took that dive into the turf. Clean hit, in my opinion. Left shoulder goes in hard. All the weight from the defensive lineman ends up on him. Quarterbacks get hurt that way a lot of times, so he was playing well before then. Prayers to Brandon Peters, obviously the Michigan transfer, and it's tough to see him go out that way. That's usually a pretty serious injury. We'll see what happens with that. But Artur Sitkowski comes in as well. I know him pretty well from his Rutgers days. 12 of 15, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Great job from the backup quarterback in this one. Played very well and got them the win. Adrian Martinez on the other end, 16 for 32, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Carrying the ball was his big deal. He had 17 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, 75 of that 111 yards was from that one huge scamper. But all in all, I think everybody watching this right now can agree that Adrian Martinez was bad. He was bad. Even looking at some of the stats aside, he was not good. Way over the mark on a lot of passes, a lot of open passes that would have gone for big plays. And he missed a touchdown early in the game that we will go over shortly. Huge deal. So you're talking that missed touchdown, that's 7 points, or 6 if you're dealing with Nebraska's kicker today that had all sorts of issues. And you're also talking about the fumble that he had that was returned for a touchdown for the Illini prior to halftime. Huge 14-point swing there for Nebraska overall. Would have gave them the win. Adrian Martinez, I know that a lot of people say you can't blame a single person for a loss, and no, technically you can't in a lot of ways. Nebraska lost this as a team in plenty of ways, but Adrian Martinez in this game, he cost them big time. First quarter, Illinois' first 2 possessions, I wasn't a huge fan of. Brandon Peters had a 19-yard pass play on the first play of the game. He looked good already out the gates, looked comfortable in his first game of the season, and then they go and revert to 2 running plays. They end up putting them in a 3rd and 15. They end up punting the ball. Next possession they have, same kind of thing. They kind of get too fancy with it on the run plays, end up in a 4th and long, have to punt the ball. Didn't like the way that they were kind of easing into it early on. Go ahead and throw the ball, man. Brandon Peters is good. He's experienced. He's all right. And against Nebraska's defense, I feel comfortable with him back there. But a loss, the second time when they did punt, sure enough, Cam Taylor-Britt, bonehead mistake. You cannot field the ball inside the 5-yard line, let alone the half-yard line. That was terrible. What else is there to say? Not the right move. That's elementary. Now, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. It's early in the season. The nerves are working. You know, some of the things that you went over through the offseason, they're out the window. But that gives Illinois the 2-0 lead. On the next possession, Nebraska gets 2 straight sacks. Of course, the first one was the Brandon Peters injury. The second one was on Artur Sitkowski. And honestly, for a lot of the game, especially that portion of the game and in the first half as a whole, I thought Nebraska's front 4 played very well. They were in the backfield a lot, sniffing things out, getting sacks, getting tackles for loss, getting pressures, all kinds of things. I thought they played well early on. It was really just that stint early into the third quarter We'll get into it, but it was in that stint into the third quarter early on that really cost them the game on defense. That leads to a missed 55-yard field goal from Illinois. Nebraska ends up getting a big play out of Marquis Step out of the backfield on a pass play. He ends up with 3 rushes on the day, 10 yards, 1 touchdown. Most of it was on that possession, the USC transfer. He gets the touchdown there, makes it 6-2. Gabe Irvin on the day, 12 for 33 on the ground, and we already went over Martinez's yards. After that Brandon Peters injury, I felt like there was a big momentum switch for Nebraska, and they had a great opportunity to take advantage of that. And again, the hit was clean, so no guilt there or anything like that. They end up going up 9-2. Then they get a drive, and Martinez misses Wyatt Lewer wide open in the end zone high. Most of his misses today were high. That was his issue. Just pushed the ball, inaccurate, not good, needed to settle in. I thought he might do it in the second half. He did with his legs, but with his arm, he never really did get comfortable. That led to a field goal. They go up 9-2 on the ensuing Illinois possession. Cam Taylor-Britt gets the interception, and this is one of the biggest questionable calls of the day, but I don't think it's questionable at all. I absolutely think that it was roughing the passer on that play. I know that a lot of people like to say that in this era, we're getting a little too soft and everything else, but you got to protect the quarterback. The defensive lineman slammed the quarterback into the ground. It's absolutely roughing the passer. You follow that up with another 15-yard penalty on top of that with a taunting call, and all of a sudden, Illinois is 30 yards further in the field, and they make Nebraska pay. They tie it up 9-9 with a touchdown of their own. That was Mike Epstein on the touchdown, 16 carries on the day, 75 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and had that 1 touchdown. Reggie Love, 12 for 45, Chase Brown, 5 for 24. Illinois did a very good job on the ground, stuck to the ground game. Obviously, I said early in the game they should have stuck with the passing plays that were working early on and keeping Nebraska honest, but at the same time, they stuck to that run game, and it was effective for them, to say the least, as I just went over those numbers. And then, of course, before the half, Adrian Martinez fumbles, returned 41 yards by Calvin Hart Jr., and a lot of people were saying kneel the ball in that situation. I don't know about that, man. There was still plenty of time. They were at like the 41-yard line, obviously. I'm okay with them going for it. I disagree with that. I know you have Adrian Martinez who turns the ball over a lot, but it's darned if you do, darned if you don't in that situation. They were going to question Scott Frost on that, whether they did go for it or they didn't go for it. So that's just people feel like they have to talk, have to say something about it. Illinois, to start the third quarter, this is where they took the game in their own hands. They go on a 14-play, 75-yard drive, makes it 23-9. Nebraska goes 3 and out on the ensuing possession, and Nebraska looked down in the dumps. And then here comes Illinois right back, punches them in the mouth again, a 45-yard pass to Deuce Spann. The deuce is loose, ends up in a 1-yard touchdown run by Isaiah Williams, and you're thinking game over, right? Game over. 30-9 at this point. Illinois with the comfortable lead. I'm already thinking about recording this video right then and there. But no, Adrian Martinez on the very next play after the kickoff takes it 75 yards to the house with his legs, makes it 30-16. And then you're thinking, yeah, but they're still not going to come back in this one. Nope. Later on, it goes on a 6-minute and 42-second, 19-play, 91-yard drive. A lot with his legs again. Oliver Martin ends up getting the ball on a touchdown pass with a 4-yard touchdown pass. Oliver Martin, the leading receiver on the day, 6 catches, 103 yards, 17.2 yards per catch, and that touchdown, obviously the one-time Michigan Wolverine. And then Connor Colt misses the extra point for Nebraska. So they cannot get out of their own way. That was the second miss of the day from the reigning Big Ten kicker of the year. So things just were not going right. Scott Frost, again, things just not going well for him early on in his tenure at Nebraska. We'll see if he can right the ship. But that made it 30-22. And Illinois can't get the first down. Nebraska goes into a few plays on their next drive. Can't get anything going. Game over. Ball game done. I went over Nebraska's schedule. They're in a whole lot of hurt. They're probably not going to make a bowl game. Way too tough down the road. And you can't even get a must-win situation taken care of at Illinois. I felt like the winner of this game needed it in a big way. If you want to talk the potential of going to a bowl game, and Illinois is the one that gets it done. They have a tough schedule to remain, to say the least, but it doesn't matter. They start out 1-0, and we'll see if they can get those other 5 wins that they need on the season. That was the reaction for this game. I thought Adrian Martinez absolutely blew it. I thought Scott Frost didn't have his team ready. They were 7-point favorites in this one and continue to just make bonehead mistakes and not play good defense. Nebraska has got to get it together there. This is Lincoln. Okay? This is On Tap Sports. We're going to have reactions like this all the time throughout the college football season. We'll see you for the next one, and we'll have plenty of videos coming out soon as well. Take care. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. College football's back, baby. Woo!